Jae-gyu further explains the truth behind his father's death to Hyun. He opens up about the house fire in the past that killed his father, a tragedy that leaves a deep scar in his heart, along with the guilt that continues to haunt him and keeps the memory alive. He even shows the burn scar on his hand, believing that God gives him those wounds so he will never forget his sin. It is not because the scar looks bad. Every time Jae-gyu looks at the scar, he remembers the look in his father's eyes when his father stared at him back then. Because of that, he cannot bring himself to show his body and live openly. Beside him, Hyun only listens with a sympathetic gaze. Jae-gyu also tells her that when he carried Hanjul and ran out of that house, the thought crossed his mind. Guilt continues to haunt him, the belief that one day he will receive his punishment, and that fear follows him throughout his life. Jae-gyu feels that he always lives in fear, and he realizes that day is now. At the moment when he feels happiest with Hyun, he becomes overwhelmed by self-doubt. He thinks that someone like him, who cannot even forgive himself, does not deserve forgiveness. He adds that if Hyun cannot forgive him, there is nothing he can do, and he does not blame her. To him, that is simply a burden he must carry on his own. Because of this, it makes us wonder whether he starts to distance himself from Hyun. Meanwhile, Nan-hee once again encounters the reporter who previously asked about her daughter's scandal. She shares her uneasiness with Lee-jun, finding it strange that she keeps seeing that person everywhere lately. To prevent any trouble and to protect Hyunbom's feelings, she asks Hyunbom to turn off her phone and avoid reading comments. The reporter continues to persist in tracking down Hyunbom's whereabouts, and Lee-jun quickly becomes aware of the situation. He informs Hyunbom that the reporter may come looking for her and urges her to return home immediately. However, it seems that Hyunbom's past story involving an affair scandal at another school will resurface, along with the revelation that she was Nan-hee's daughter, a fact that will shock and stun many people. On the other hand, the news eventually reaches Jae-gyu. Through Dongpyo, he sends macarons to Hyunbom, as if conveying that he stands by her side and continues to support her. This makes it highly likely that in the upcoming episode, Hyunbom has no choice but to confront the issue through legal means in order to restore her reputation.